Fine. Good morning to all of you. Yes. So in the last class, we have studied the surveying chapter. Correct? Huh? So what is the definition of the surveying? Yes. What is the definition? So surveying is the it is an art of determining the relative positions of the points or objects on, above, or beneath the surface of Earth by means of direct or indirect measurements of the distances or direction or elevations in horizontal and or vertical plane. Just a minute. Okay. The main objective of surveying is to prepare the plan or map of the area to be surveyed. Okay. So what is the difference between the plan and map? So plan is having a larger scale, and map is having a smaller scale. Okay. Then what is the scale? What is the scale? Scale is it is the ratio of 1 unit of the paper is equal to some 100 units or some 100 units on the ground. It is a ratio of paper unit to the ground unit. Ratio of paper unit to the ground unit. It's called a scale. Yes. Next, we have studied the objectives of survey. Correct. So, what are the objectives of, or the purpose of survey? To determine the yes. Have you written this point in your group? So, to determine the relative position of the existing or objects. Okay. To determine the relative positions of the existing points or features of the ground. Okay, ground का features को enter करने के लिए. Then to lay out the marked positions of the proposed structures. If at all there is a site, okay, there are columns. Okay, in your plan or in your paper, I have to transfer these marked positions on the ground, so that we have to use the survey to determine the area, value, and other related quantities. Suppose if it is you are having an area, okay, this is your plot. I want to determine the total area of the plot. By using surveying, you have to determine the area of the plot. Now you are sitting in the classroom. What is the area of this classroom? You can take the tape and you can measure it, correct now? So if I want to calculate the area of this very campus, so how to determine the area of this very campus? So we have to do the surveying work. I want to determine the area of the total area of the Pandharpur city. So how to do? We have to do the surveying. By doing surveying, we have to determine the total area of the any space area, okay, or any ground. Then again, one more is quantity or volumes. Suppose if there is a pond, okay, pond means what is there in the pond? There is a water. How much quantity of water is stored in the pond? If there is a hill, okay, what is the height of the hill? Or if there is a dam, how much is the quantity of the dam? How much is the quantity of water is stored in the dam? That can be calculated by using surveying. Okay. Surveying is used to determine the area and volume of the any quantity. Then to prepare map of a country, detailed locations of the cities, towns, villages, and major. Okay, if I want to determine the total location of the entire India map, so we have to do surveying. So by doing surveying, what we are going to get, we can determine the location of the cities, where Delhi is located, where Mumbai is located, where Bangalore is located. Okay, that location can be determined by the survey. Again, if I want to determine the particular town or city or villages, we have to do the surveying. Then, to prepare engineering detailed plans, sections of the various sections such as roads, railways, bridges, dams. Okay. In order to do construct a roads, railways, bridges, dams, and any RCC building or any structure, you have to have a proper surveying. Without survey work, you cannot construct any work. Okay. That's why surveying is very, very important in terms of civil engineering. Okay, when you are coming for the next semester, okay, in the next second year, the civil engineering, there is a surveying subject only. You are surveying one, surveying two. There you will study in detail everything. Then, to prepare the topographical map showing the details of hills, valleys, and rivers. So, in the last class, I have told what are the hill, what is hill, what is valley, what is town. So, if the topography of the ground is like this, what is this? Hill. It means elevation is increasing, correct? Elevation is increasing. If the topography is like this, okay, then what is this one? This is valley. Okay. Then suppose if the topography is moving like this, okay, moving like this, it means water is flowing like this. So what is this one? It is a river. Okay. So by looking at the diagram of the your surveyed plan, you can conclude or you can define whether it is a river, whether it is hill, whether it is a pond, or whether it is a valley. You can recognize. So next one is, so after studying the objective, this purpose is important for examination point. Why we have to do? In order to calculate all this work, we have to do the survey. Okay. So before starting the surveying work, how to start the work? Okay. You studied what is surveying you have studied. Then what is the purpose or objective you have studied. Then how to begin the surveying? That is main part task. So they, in order to do the any work, there are some set of rules, correct? So there is in order to do some, there are some principles. In order to do the Indian government, there are some set of rules and regulations. Principles are there in the constitution. Similarly, in order to do run an organization, okay, in college or any educational building, there are some set of rules and regulations, principles. Okay. Similarly, there are some principles in the survey. These principles are important for your examination point of view. Okay. So first principle is to work from whole to part. Is it audible, everyone? The people are in the online. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first principle is to work from whole to a part. And second principle is to locate a point by taking measurements of from two reference points. Okay. What is this one? I will explain. First, write on this one. Principles of surveying. Objectives available. Okay, okay. So before coming to this one, so write on the objectives. You are not written no objectives. Okay. First, write on the objectives. To determine the relative positions of to determine the relative positions of existing features of ground of ground. Then second one, to layout our marked positions, to layout marked positions of of proposed structures on the ground on the ground. In the multiple choice questions, he may ask, okay, these purposes. Then third point, to determine areas, volumes, and other related quantities, Then to prepare plan, sorry, to prepare a map, to prepare a map of a country, of a country, to prepare a map of a country of detailed location, of detailed location of cities, of cities, towns, towns, villages, villages, and major roads, and major roads. Then to prepare engineering, to prepare engineering, detailed plans, detailed plans. Madam, if you come 10:30, also it's fine. Okay. Have you written this code? To prepare the engineering details. Next, last one. To prepare, to prepare a topographical map, a topographical map showing details of hills, showing details of hills, valleys, and rivers, valleys and rivers. Have you written all of them? Yes. Please give response.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Next, random shading. Principles of surveying. Principles of surveying. Important. Rate it as important. So rate it triple star. Very, very important in the examination point of view. Definitely, you are going to get the questions from this one. So first one, the fundamental principles of surveying is, first one is to work from pole to part, to work from pole to part, pole to part, to work from pole to part. Next, second one, to locate, to locate a point, to locate a point by taking, by taking measurements, measurements from two reference points, from two reference points, from two reference points. Okay, look at, look at the figure, screen. So first principle is what? To work from pole to part. Suppose consider this is entire area is there. The plan is there. I have to determine the its total area. So how to determine? So when there is a large area is there, you have to divide this entire area into smaller part. Okay, so how that small part should be? That should be triangle. Okay, that should be triangle. You have to divide the entire area into smaller part. That is to work from whole to a part. Okay, whenever there is a area is there, you have to divide into the smaller triangular parts. These triangles are called as equilateral triangles, or it is also called as well-conditioned triangles. Okay, well, I will write here. Well-conditioned triangles. Well-conditioned triangles. Triangles. So what is well-conditioned triangles? The angle between the included angle is theta 30 degree to 30 degree to 30 degrees less than or equal to theta is less than or equal to 120 degree. Okay. If this is a triangle, correct? This is one triangle. This triangle should be equal to in between 30 to 120 degree. That triangle is called as well-conditioned triangle. The total plot is divided into a smaller triangle. That triangle should be well-conditioned triangle. So again, this triangle should be again divided. This is one triangle. Again, this triangle should be divided. Again, this triangle should be divided. When you get a smaller triangle, that particular area can be determined by applying your base into height. Okay, so then you can calculate this area, then you can calculate this area, then you can calculate this area. So as a result of, you will calculate entire area. So why we have to do working from whole to part? Why not from the part to a whole? Because if at all, in order to measure the smaller area, if there is an error of 1 centimeter is there, okay, that error is going to multiply or going to enlarge when you are working from part to whole. अभी एक part में 1 centimeter error है देखो ऐसे सोचो. Just also concentrate here. What you are reading? Concentrate. If the, consider this entire classroom is one area. Okay, so this entire classroom should be divided into smaller triangles. Okay, that triangle should be well-conditioned triangle. Each triangle area should be calculated, and from that one you can calculate the total area. Okay, so that is total area is divided into smaller. That is working from whole to part. Correct? Correct? So reverse is not applicable. What is reverse? Part to a whole is not applicable. Why it is not applicable? In case if you consider a first small triangle, if there is a 1 centimeter error is there, then second triangle 2 centimeter, then there, if there are 10 triangles, then the error will be 10 centimeter ho jayega. Correct? So there is a problem. The errors are going to increase when you do part to a whole. Okay. So if you do whole to a part, if you, at all total area may 5 centimeter or 1 centimeter error hai, so that 1 centimeter should be divided into a smaller triangle. So whenever you are doing the whole to a part, the error is reduced. Whenever you are doing the part to a whole, the error is going to increase. So first principle is what? Working from whole to a part. Okay. How to divide? That should be divided into well-conditioned triangles. See in the figure. Here there is a figure, correct? So how is it is there? A, B, C is a total larger triangle. That triangle is divided into a smaller triangle, correct? D, E, F. Again, that triangle is divided into a G, H, J. It means this is one triangle, this is one triangle, this is one triangle, this is one triangle. So if you want to total area of the triangle, then what you have to do? You have to add the all the areas of triangles. So what he has given to work from whole to part, this is the main principle of surveying. Here, the entire plot will be divided into smaller triangles, and the area will be surveyed from the boundary to the innermost triangle. The purpose of working from whole to part is to localize the errors and to control the accumulation of errors. Why we have to do the working from whole to part? To localize the errors, means to minimize the errors, and it is going to avoid the accumulation of errors. Errors will not increase by doing working from whole to part. Reverse में क्या होता? The errors are going to increase. इसके लिए क्या करने का? whole to part. Okay. So first principle is it is whole to part. Is it clear, everyone? Working from whole to part.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So in the multiple choice questions, so while doing whole to part, so area is divided into a smaller triangles, rectangles, pentagons, hexagons. What is the answer? Triangles. And that triangle should be what? Well conditional triangles. What is well conditional triangle? The angle, interior angle of a triangle should be in between 30 to 120 degrees. Okay, these 3 points you have to remember. Is it okay? Then second part is second principle. To locate a point by taking at least two measurements. What are the measurements? Measurements is linear or angular. So if I this is a point one, this is a point two, A point, and this is B point, B point. So I want to determine the distance between these two. So how to determine? Suppose I will draw is that there is a figure. PQ is one line, and with this R is another point. I have to locate this R with respect to PQ. Two measurements may be linear or angular. Two measurements may be linear, or two measurements may be angular, or one is linear and one more is angular. So how to determine that? See, this PQ is a given line. All of you concentrate at the screen. PQ is given line. This R is another point. I have to locate this R with respect to PQ only. So how to locate? So if you know the distance between the QR, okay, this distance and PR, this is D2. Can you look at this R? Okay, means this distance and this distance. What is distance? Distances are linear measurements. If you know two linear measurements, you can look at the R. Correct? Suppose in the next one. So one is angle and one is distance. If you know the distance between the PQ line and this R line, R point, distance, and if you know the angle between this one, you can look at this R. One is linear measurement and one more is angular measurement. Then, so coming to this point, R point, third case. So if you know angle between the PQR and if you know the distance between the QR, can you look at this point R? So one is angular point theta ho gaya and one more is distance ho gaya. Then coming to the D point. So if you know both are angular measurements. So PQR, this is angular measurements. If you know QPR, this is also angular measurement. Can you look at this R? So to locate any point, how many measurements should be required? At least two measurements are required. And one is what are those two measurements? Either linear measurements or angular measurements, or one is linear and one more is angular. Then in this case, so if you know the angle, this angle is known, and this D is distance is known between this distance, then you can look at this point R. Okay. So what he is explaining, see, to locate a point by taking measurements from two reference points, two control points are selected in the area. So this is entire area. Okay, इसमें two control points select किया, PQ एक control point. Then the distance between them is measured and plotted on paper. All other measurements are taken based on these 2 points. Okay, these 2 points are first drawn PQ. With respect to PQ, the another point is located. आपको समझ में आ गया है क्या नहीं? Principle of survey. What is first principle? Working from whole to part. Then second principle is to locate a new point by at least taking measurements by 2 points of reference. What are the 2 points? Either linear or angular, or both are linear or both are angular. Yes, all of you, is it clear? Yes. So first
Yes.
of all, here what you have to remember? 2 names you have to remember. Okay. So classification of survey. So surveying is classified into basically 2 types. One is primary classification and second one is secondary classification. So in the primary classification, so primary surveying is can be divided into two parts. First one is plane surveying and second one is geodetic surveying. See now, can you tell me how is our Earth surface? Is it plane or is it in a geodetic shape or spheroidal shape? Is it plane or spheroidal shape? Earth, Earth is spherical or spheroidal shape. Okay. So consider I am doing surveying only small part. Only small part. This small part is it a plane or curved? Small part. Consider entire Earth is curved. Abhi you are sitting in the classroom only. This classroom is it curved or plane? Plane. It means whenever you are doing a surveying in a smaller part, considering Earth's surface as a plane, then that is called as plane survey. Whenever you are doing a survey in a smaller area, considering Earth's surface as a plane, that is called as plane survey. If you are doing a survey in a larger area, then you have to consider the spheroidal shape of the Earth or curvature of the Earth. Then that is called as geodetic survey. Geodetic survey. So what is the difference between the plane surveying and the geodetic surveying? In the plane surveying, the spheroidal shape of the Earth is neglected. Then in the geodetic surveying, the spheroidal shape of the Earth is taken into consideration, or curvature of the Earth is taken into consideration. Okay. Then you may ask, so when it is called as plane surveying and when it is called as geodetic surveying? Okay, so there should be some limit for our plane surveying. If at all the plane area is less than 250 square kilometer, 250 square kilometer, then that surveying is called plane surveying. If you are doing a surveying in between 250 square kilometer, then that area is the surveying is plane surveying. If you are doing a survey beyond 250 square kilometer, then that surveying is called as geodetic survey. Is it clear, everyone? Yes? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Read them first. All of you read them. Classification of surveying, which is important. This is also whatever points I am telling, all these are important. Primary classification. First one is primary classification. Principles, no? Dictation. Principle को dictation चाहिए क्या? No, उसपे नहीं, मैंने just point दिया. Afterwards you can write. Leave some page. समझ में आ रहा है? और principles लिखा है दोनों point. So leave some place, some space. Now, okay, आप page leave it and afterwards write this classification. Okay, मैंने upload कर दिया PPT, so you can go through this. After writing principle, just leave off page. Okay, you can explain work from home and second principle also. Okay, write down first one. Primary classification. Here, A, plane surveying. Plane surveying. Plane surveying. Plane surveying. Okay. It is a process of surveying. It is a process of surveying in which the portion of earth being surveyed is considered as plane, as a plane. Underline the plane word. Underline the plane word. In that one only, next point. Triangle formed. See, he has taken triangle word because all the surveying work is done by formulating the triangle. The principle is triangulation. The entire area should be divided into triangles only. Okay. Triangle formed by joining three points. Three points is called as plane triangle. Plane triangle. And the angle of this triangle is and the angle of this triangle is and the angle of this triangle is plane angle. Plane angle. Plane angle. Next point. Plane surveying is done. Plane surveying is done in an area how much? Less than 250 square kilometer. In an area less than 250 square kilometer. Is it clear, all of you? Have you written?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Second one, B. B is geodetic surveying. B is geodetic surveying. Geodetic surveying. It is a process of surveying in which the shape, size, size of the earth are considered. What is size, shape of earth? मतलब spheroidal shape. Okay, in bracket you can write spheroidal shape. Spheroidal shape. Yes, shape means curvature. Okay, spheroidal shape is considered. Okay, next point. In geodetic survey line, in geodetic survey, comma, line joining two points, is considered as a curve line. Next point. Geodetic survey carried out over and area exceeding 250 square kilometer. 250 square kilometer. See, in case of plane surveying, the points are A and B. Okay, A and B. The line joining between A and B, it is a clear plane line. The plane line. In case of the geodetic surveying, so A and B are there. A and B there. This is not a straight line. It will be a slightly curved line. It is a slightly curved line. Why it is curved line? Because we are considering the spheroidal shape of the Earth. Consider Earth is in a spherical shape. There is a point, there is a B point. Is it in a straight line? No, it is a curved line. Correct? No? That's right. So in case of a plane area, the triangle is like this. Okay, it is plane triangle. In case of the geodetic surveying, there is a line, there is a B line, there is a C line. Okay, this is called as spherical triangle. This is called a spherical triangle. In the plane surveying, the triangle is plane triangle. In the geodetic surveying, the triangle is spherical triangle. In the plane surveying, the angles are plane angles. In the geodetic surveying, the angles are spherical angles. Are you getting all of it? Yes, is it understanding? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And plane surveying is carried out by the all your government field. That is irrigation department, PWD department, Panchayat Development Office. So in there they are doing all the plane surveying calculation. Where the geodetic surveying calculated is, geodetic survey is conducted by the Survey of India department. Survey of India department. That department is considering all the spherical shape. These are the primary classification. Then again secondary classification. So after primary there is secondary. This secondary classification is based on the different points. Okay, there are different. First one is he has considered instruments. So while doing the surveying work, there are some instruments are required. Depending on the instrument, there is a classification. So first one is chain surveying. It means for doing the surveying work, the chains are required. Have you seen chain? Okay, when you come to the basic civil lab, I will show you chain. So there is, so you might have seen in your form or in your case. Okay, when you want to measure the area, the people are using chains. Okay, that will be 20-meter chain or 30-meter chain. By using chains, you can measure the area. That is called as chain surveying. Some case the compass is used. That is called as compass surveying. And some cases the plane table surveying. In order to do the survey work, the table is used. That is called as plane table surveying. Then there is a theodolite surveying. So theodolite is an instrument. Theodolite is an instrument which is used for measuring the angular distances. Okay, angular direction. Suppose, see, the instrument is here. Okay, instrument is here. There is an electrical pole. I have to determine the height, that is angle of this electrical power tower. So this angle is determined by theodolite. Theodolite. That is called as theodolite surveying. Okay. Then tachymetric surveying. So there is an instrument called as tachymeter. By taking this tachymeter, you can measure the linear and angular measurements. So from the chain surveying, you can measure linear measurements only. Linear measurements mean distances or lengths. So compass surveying. Compass से क्या मिलता है आपको? Angles, directions. It means the angular measurements only. Then plane table surveying. So from the plane table survey, you can measure only linear measurements. Then theodolite surveying. So you can measure angular measurements. Then tachymetric surveying, you can measure both linear and angular measurements. Then one more is photographic surveying. So it means, so if I want to measure capture the spherical campus area, so how to capture it? I have to go in the aeroplane. I have to use the modern instrument, that is camera, and I have to take the picture of this one. That is called as photographic surveying. We have to capture the photo of that particular area. Okay, these are based on the instruments. What are the first one? First one is chain surveying. So from the chain surveying, which type of measurements you are getting? Linear measurements. Then what is second one? Compass surveying. So from the compass surveying, which type of measurements you are getting? Angular. Then third one is plane table. From the plane table, you can do linear measurements. Then theodolite surveying, you can measure angular measurements. Then tachymeter, you can do both linear and angular measurements. Then photographic surveying, you can take the photographs of particular area. Is it clear, all of you? Based on instrument?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So in the second, there is based on the method. Which method you are applying in order to do the surveying? So that is called as based on the method of surveying. So first one is triangulation method. Second one is traverse surveying method. So triangulation method is, so consider this is your area. Okay, all of you consider it. Look at the figure. So this is your entire area. So how this entire area is divided? This is divided into a triangle, correct? So this is called as triangulation. The entire area is divided into smaller triangles. Those triangles should be well conditioned triangles. This entire procedure is called as triangulation. This is one method. Okay, and one more method is there. So this is your entire area. Okay, plot. So how I will start? I will start at this point, and I will go to this point. I will go to this point. I will go to this point. I will go, and I will come back to the same point. It means I have covered the entire area. So that is called as traversing. It means you have to start from one point and you have to go along the boundary of your plot and you have to come back to the same point. Then that is called as traversing. Are you getting the difference between the traversing and triangulation? So in the triangulation, what is done? The entire area is divided into smaller triangles. Okay. In the triangular traversing, what you are doing? We are starting from the one point and we are going through the outer boundary and we are coming back to the same point. That is called as tra- tra- traversing. That is a method. Then C is based on the object. So the main object is what? On that basis, there is classification. Geological surveying. If I want to study the Earth surface, geography of the Earth surface, that is called as geological surveying. If I want to do the mine surveying, so if there is bauxite is available, if there is iron ore is available, how much quantity of iron ore is there? If I want to take the details of those one, that is called as mine surveying. That is called as geological surveying. Then archaeological surveying. So think that there is a one studied in the archaeology department. The sample may be of 200 years ago. 200 years ago, I have to study its features. It means which type of surveying is used? Archaeological surveying is used. There is an archaeological department also. Then military surveying. The survey which is used in military purpose, that is called as military survey. So these are objectives. So what are the based on objectives? Geological survey, mine survey, archaeological survey, and military survey. Then last one is based on the nature of surveying. Means where you are doing the surveying. If you are doing the surveying on the land surfaces, then it is called as land surveying. If you are doing the surveying on the water surfaces, then that is called as hydrographical surveying. Hydrographical survey. If you are doing the surveying on the air, then that is called as aerial survey. Okay. So these are all of the different surveying classification. These are important for your multiple choice question. Okay. So start riddle. Second one is secondary surveying or secondary classification. Secondary classification. First one based on instrument. Based on instrument. Based on instrument. Okay. First one. First one. Okay. Chain surveying. Chain surveying. Next, compass surveying. Compass surveying. Next, plane table surveying. Plane table surveying. Next, theodolite surveying. Theodolite surveying. Next, tachymetric surveying. Tachymetric surveying. Next, photographic surveying. Photographic surveying. Next, B. B is based on methods. Based on methods. Based on method. First one, triangulation surveying. Triangulation surveying. Second one, traverse surveying. Traverse surveying. Next, C. Based on object of surveying. Based on object of surveying. So first one, geological surveying. Geological surveying. Geological surveying. Next, mine surveying. Mine surveying. Then archaeological surveying. Archaeological surveying. Then military surveying. military surveying. Then D, based on nature of field, based on nature of field or fields. First one, land surveying. Land surveying. Land surveying means we are doing surveying on the land, surface of ground. Next, second one is marine surveying. So marine surveying is also called as hydrographic surveying. Hydrographic surveying. Hydrographic surveying. Marine surveying is also called as hydrographic surveying. Then third one is astronomical surveying. Astronomical surveying. This astronomical surveying is also called as aerial surveying. Aerial surveying. Aerial surveying. Okay. So this classification is important in your multiple choice question. He will ask based on instrument. He will give any one three. Okay, he will include military surveying here. Which one is not a second question? You should be very careful. You have to read the question clearly and you have to answer. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Then uses of surveying. So where surveying is used. Okay, don't write out. So just I will explain this one. Okay. To the topographical maps showing hills, rivers, towns, villages, you have seen. Okay, objectives of survey. The same objective will be used. This is my motto. That is nothing. That is my uses. Okay. Then for planning, estimation of new engineering projects like water supply, irrigation schemes, mines, railroads, bridges, okay, buildings. In this case, surveying is used. Then cadastral maps. It means showing boundaries, fields, house, and other properties prepared. It means your house and neighbor's house. There is a boundary. Okay. It means that type of surveying is called as cadastral surveying or cadastral maps. From one boundary to another boundary. Differentiate karte hai na? That is called as cadastral map. Then engineering maps showing the position of works like roads, railway, building, dams, canals are prepared through the surveying. Okay, roads construction करना है तो bridges, buildings, railway, dams, canals, whatever items you can take. In order to do that one, you have to do the surveying. Okay, so these all are the uses of survey one. The same thing is given here. So this completes entire survey part. In the next class, we will study about the geoinformatics. Okay, is it clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
So next class will be taken by madam. So I will take the attendance from the madam. Okay, now we will stop. Okay, madam will take attendance. I will copy that. Thank you all.